And then no one can get hit but me and my team. Oh, sniper.
Holy shit! When the Battlefield 1 trailer dropped, people went batshit crazy. It seemed like, finally, this is the game that the community was asking for, and sure, it looked pretty fucking amazing, but how does it play? That's what the beta was for, and I could say that I actually prefer Battlefield 4 and Battlefield Hardline to this game in terms of gameplay mechanics. I wasn't a huge fan of the decision to go World War I with the setting, and the beta confirmed my initial thoughts, as I feel the setting holds the game back in various ways. The guns in Battlefield 1 feel very clunky, which I suppose was done on purpose given the setting of the game and trying to make it be more immersive. However, I also felt that the hit detection was off at times, much more on PC than console, which I think might have something to do with aim assist, but regardless, the gunplay felt a bit off to me.
Fucking melee killed like a fucking flamethrower guy in there.
Was I not shooting right at him? The hit detection in this game is fucking garbage. I prefer the way that other Battlefield games play to this one. The guns themselves don't offer much in the way of customization, and this is obfuscated by the quote-unquote variants of the guns, adding one attachment here or there just to change it up. Again, it's a World War I game, so there weren't crazy grips or sights for weapons back then, which doesn't give a carrot to players that need it. I'm not one of them. But the classes didn't feel very balanced with the weapon loadouts, and I'll speak later about why I think it's mostly the map's fault, but the SMGs were clearly the best weapons in the game, with snipers a close second due to the increased bullet velocity compared to other Battlefield titles. The medic class got the shaft of the semi-automatic rifles with so few bullets that reloading after each kill is a tedious and timely act, which is almost a necessity, along with the support class having clunky machine guns that had a weird mechanic of being more accurate when holding down the trigger longer, and they would also lock up at times, thus making it a game of Russian roulette when trying to actually get some kills with it.
Okay, Brian, so the longer you hold down the fire button of the LMG, the more accurate it becomes.
So then, me tap firing has been asinine the entire time.
Yes!
Well, every other Battlefield game, you fucking tap fire. Let's make an LMG whose bullets don't connect. I'll go more into depth with class equipment later, but the dominant classes were clearly the Assault and Scout. One of my biggest gripes about the beta was the map. It was fucking shit. Even though it definitely changes up the play style of the map, the doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo isn't much fun to play in at all. The color palette is the color of Donald Trump's hair and or skin for the majority of it, and the vast openness of the map leads to vehicles being so dominant as we saw. Considering how useless most anti-tank measures were, with K bullets on the Scout class doing a paltry 7 damage per shot, the grenade launcher for the medic doing around 5 if you can get the timing down, and the support class had absolutely nothing. Let's just lob some small anti-tank grenades which are like a flea bite to the armor. The Assault class was almost an automatic pick in order to take out these vehicles. Additionally, the Assault class had only one long-range way to take out a tank with the anti-tank rocket, which you didn't unlock right away and was compounded upon by the fact that there was a bug in actually ranking up the kits during the beta, and it required the user to be prone in order to shoot it. That's a whole lot to ask for given how powerful the vehicles were. This meant that he had to get up close and personal to use his other gadgets, which meant the dynamite, which also didn't stick to vehicles, so you had to either guess where they were going or get lucky with someone that wasn't moving.
Okay, we might actually win this.
No! God damn it! 14? I put 3 fucking things of dynamite on it. Same with the mines, or you could use the anti-tank grenade, which didn't explode upon impact, so it required some timing as well. Not to mention, the anti-vehicle elite class was all the way out in Bumblefuck at the E objective, 300 meters away from the closest other objective, so not many even bothered going over there to grab it. Considering that the map is mostly open spaces, it was difficult to sneak up on a tank to do these things because most tanks have more guns sticking out of all the different directions, like a glory hole in a porno flick. I don't think that the tanks are that OP. They probably need to dial back the damage on some of the shells just a bit, but I do think that countermeasures need a buff going forward, and I think a lot of these issues stemmed from the map design because it was way too fucking easy to go 40 or 50 in 1 by playing conservatively in a vehicle. Piggybacking on my map gripes is the fact that DICE changed the way how the minimap works, which compounds the issues of having a map that had sections in it where there were tons of 2- and 3-story buildings, which you could shoot down on from above. You no longer appear on the minimap when you fire your weapon, which I think is a really bad design decision. In other games, you'd have to use a suppressor to keep off the minimap when firing, but at a penalty of reduced range and bullet velocity. Since this is a World War I game and silencers were only just invented at the time according to some research I did, this isn't really an option. Although there was a silence MG in the game, so I'm not sure why DICE couldn't have taken some additional liberties here and given a suppressor for all weapons in order to avoid this shenanery. Anyways, not showing up on the minimap when firing might make the game more skillful since you need to pay attention to your surroundings and audio more. However, it also rewards a more campy defensive playstyle. Let me explain. Those people that PTFO would have been showing up on the minimap regardless of this new mechanic because they'd either be spotted by other players trying to get the objective or showing up on the minimap by popping off those shots. On the other hand, those players in the plethora of buildings playing more defensively can get the drop on someone, and since they don't show up on the minimap until they're spotted, they could easily get away with kills without having enemies knowing where they are because someone who's being shot at isn't going to fire back and spot at the same time, especially on console where the spot and shoot button both occupy the same trigger finger space. It's less so a problem on PC where the spot is Q and shoot is mouse click, which is two different hands entirely, but still, you need to remember to spot and shoot at the same time while also being fired upon if you're somebody that's PTFOing and not playing like a camping little twat waffle. In other games, if you're just getting shot at by a camper, they're going to show up on the minimap for a teammate to kill them at least, giving your buddies a chance to grab them. Now, even if you have people in your squad that you're communicating directly with, it's almost impossible to identify where the killer is because all those buildings by the C objective look exactly the fucking same. Where is he? Yeah, he's in the third story of that building. Which building? That building. You know which one I'm talking about. No, we actually don't. We have no fucking idea. This is why the design decision leads to a more passive campy playstyle, because you're less likely to be killed if you're the one that's posted up versus running around trying to kill shit. One idea that kind of bridges the gap between these two philosophies is if you actually land a bullet on an enemy, then they show up on the minimap. This way, it doesn't reward players with passive playstyles so much, and it allows people that don't want to show up on the minimap when they fire their gun to stay off the minimap. Having the skull icon on the minimap is helpful when it's not flying off in random directions.
It's like really...
Holy shit, there's skulls flying off the fucking screen right now!
Yeah, that's normal.
Not to mention, redundancy is key in game design. There's a reason why, even though you have an announcer, shit pops up on the screen when objectives are being captured or lost, why there's screen indicators in previous games when you're being locked onto in a vehicle, even though there's that annoying-ass alarm sound, and the chat tells you when people request things, and it also shows up on the minimap, which is a different bug that I'll get into later, even though their character yells out in the game, "Can I get some ammo, please?" Why a person has to rely on only one aspect of their senses instead of all of them isn't a good design idea. Spotting in this game is also reduced from previous iterations since it's not directional spotting, and the duration is much shorter on the minimap, and I don't know if it's a bug, which we'll get into later, but spotting was iffy at best at times when at distance. I don't know if that's a design decision to make the scout class more comparable, but this combined with the no-shot spot rule make the game a much slower paced one compared to previous Battlefield titles, which isn't really a game that I want to play. I don't really want to play tactical shooter. I want to play the fucking objective game. Speaking of classes, the medic class and support class need some help. I think the assault and scout classes work really well, especially in terms of their gadgets, but I think we can assist in making the others better. I think the support class does have a mortar type gadget which will help take out vehicles, even though we didn't get to see it in the beta. This should be an earlier unlock to make that class more viable instead of it being relegated to infantry fighting only. Again, just going based on one map, I'd be inclined to switch the semi-auto rifles to the assault class and the SMGs to the medic class, but that might be a bit overkill. I like having that skip revive option to spawn into battle a little bit faster, although I've been told it was bugged out in the beta to skip to the spawn screen quicker and spend more time there. However, the alert nearby medics option should be something that is always done when you die, not something you have to physically actually press. I rarely saw a revive icon anywhere, and again, I don't know if it was a bug or not. You see a trend here, which is the biggest reason for the medic class to actually exist, to revive people. Take away the ability to determine what body needs a revive or not reduces the medic class to uselessness, especially with the semi-auto rifle weaponry, which is clearly the worst in the game behind the other options. I did not eat all of the cat food. I only ate some of the cat food. Dude, come on, man, with the revive! Battlefield 1 is not in a modern setting, and it has some not-so-modern features. Don't get me wrong, there are some good additions to the game, like the skip revive I just mentioned, a meter that tells you how many players are on objectives, squad up before getting into games, and health bars of the enemy players. However, there's a lot of things missing from previous Battlefield titles, like revive and request icons on the minimap, preview on the spawn screen so you know what kind of shitstorm you're getting into, the ability to zoom in on the spawn screen. By the way, I just hate the spawn screen altogether. It's fucking terrible. I don't care about zooming into battle, just get me in as quick as fucking possible, and a personal kill feed that can actually keep up with all the action that's going on. I don't know what's with games these days giving out participation ribbons to everyone, or medals, or racking up points for mundane shit like actually landing a shot, but please, let me know that I've killed someone before I waste more bullets on a dead body. Oh, and don't get me started on the bayonet charge. No! Oh my god, dude, the bayonet charge is fucking bullshit. The melee system in this game is the worst I've ever seen in a shooter game. Having the charge be faster than normal run encourages people to use it in order to get around, especially on this map, which leads to getting randomly stabbed in the chest by people that didn't even know you were fucking there, but they just wanted to get from point A to point B faster, and oh look, I could do a little commando lunge and kill people. Plus, the other types of melee engagements are so clunky, it feels as if you're flailing around like a fish out of water trying to get a kill. I understand that war was brutal back then, but the melee system in Battlefield 4 worked great. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. It just seems that there's a lot of things missing from this build in terms of basic functionality we'd expect from a Battlefield game. This, combined with the plethora of bugs, isn't a good sign of things to come. I didn't know that fanny packs spun around like The Exorcist, the weird spawning system where you spawn on an objective but you're hundreds and hundreds of meters away, or you sometimes spawn right in the line of sight of somebody. Dude, what the fuck kind of spawn is that? Seriously. Like, I spawn on the objective, right? And I'm a fucking 130 meters away from it, and there's a fucking guy that's standing there ready to kill me. Planes that don't explode or even break when crashing into cliffs. The collision detection is terrible in this game, and it took ages to pull up the start menu, which was so much worse on console than on PC. For the love of God, bring up the fucking pause menu. Battlefield 1 must have stolen the UI loading times from the Xbox One back when it first launched. This is fucking ridiculous. Oh, great, now the flag's going down. Wait, no, it's going back up again, and now it's going back down again. It looks like I'm gonna be losing this fucking objective, and great, there's a train that just pulled up to the fucking station. I hope it doesn't see me behind this rock over here, and we just lost the objective to Great Britain. Finally, the fucking game menu pops up, but look, it's not responding to what I'm doing. I'm trying to push the buttons, and nothing's fucking happening. This is absolute bullshit! Come on, DICE, sort your shit out, man! Oh my god, the Great Britain has taken over the objective, and I'm still stuck in the fucking pause menu here. Hey look, I can finally move and we're taking over the objective again. I have no idea how the fuck I didn't die over here on this goddamn rock. I know that Battlefield betas are notorious for weird and buggy shit, but Hardline and Battlefront had less bugs in the beta and better launches. This has me extremely worried about a Battlefield 4 or Battlefield 3-esque launch where the game isn't playable for a few months. I just realized that this review is mostly negative, which is strange considering that the game was actually pretty good. It's just not as good as the other Battlefield games. Even though I don't hype myself up, I'm kind of disappointed in this game because I knew I didn't like the World War I setting when it was announced, and I wanted it to prove me wrong with the gameplay, but I wasn't proven wrong about my initial reactions. I'll likely purchase it for the PC and wait until the bugs are fixed to pick it up on console, because I'm much better on console than on PC, as you can see in the gameplay in the background. But what did you guys think of the beta? Let me know down in the comments section. I've been the Schwantz27, out like Steven Strasberg. Until next time. Oh, Fitness Gram, sell your fucking PC!